Hello, this is Michael, and today Riot released patch 8.3 for League of Legends, so let's take a look at what's changed. The first thing to notice is Swain was reworked completely, and every time Riot reworks a champion, it becomes insanely broken, so I hope you like playing against Swain, or at least banning it, because I'm sure he's going to be super powerful. Azir's Q cooldown was increased at early ranks. This should hurt his early laning a little bit, but his strength has always been his late game power spike, so I'm sure that Azir will be fine. The W change is interesting though. Azir soldiers now draw minion aggro to Azir. Probably won't do much to negatively impact Azir, but this is similar to what they did in the last patch with Pantheon. Jarvan's base armor was decreased. Does not matter. It'll make him a little less healthy when he comes out of the jungle, but he should still be fine, especially the way that he's been building recently. Cinder Hulk into Warmogs is strong on Jarvan too. You can still go Electrocute and you're going to do enough damage to be impactful in the early game, and then you can transition into being a tank during the mid game and the late game. Jhin R base damage increased at later ranks. This is the kind of thing that Jhin players might really like, but 20 damage, that's nothing. So really shouldn't impact Jhin. The problem with Jhin is that he doesn't win lane hard enough against champions like Kogmaw even after the Relic Shield nerf. So until champions like Kogmaw receives a nerf, I don't think Jin's really a great option in professional play. Katarina passive damage decreased. Katarina is already not seen in professional play. This is just going to hurt her more. I mean, that's a ton of damage actually. She loses 47 passive damage at level 18. That's pretty crazy. I mean, Katarina is annoying to play against if you're on the solo queue ladder, but in a ranked team environment, you're able to shut her down much more easily. So it seems Riot's still primarily interested in balancing around solo queue and the regular players' experience, not professional play. Kogmaw. W maximum health damage decreased at later ranks. Cog's damage is spiking too hard. So this is actually something I was talking about recently. I think that Kogmaw's the real reason Kogmaw power spikes so hard is because of how good Ginsu's is on him. And nerfing Bio Arcane Barrage will hurt him a little bit, but he's just going to become more of a mid-game champion. I mean, Kogmaw is just a great champion, and the thing is that when you have a Kogmaw on your team, most players understand how to play around it now. When it first started happening, when Juggernaut first started happening, people didn't know how to play with it on their team, so it had a lower win rate. But now that everyone understands how to protect their AD carry better, yeah, I don't think it's really ever going to go away. They need to make huge changes to Kogmaw in order for something to really supplant him as the best AD carry right now. Lucian's passive damage increased at early ranks, passive crit damage increased. So second shot damage is increased. I think Lucian is the kind of champion who should be viable. I think, especially with press the attack, I think Lucian could be very strong. So I definitely think you're going to start seeing more Lucians on the ranked ladder and in professional play. I really like press the attack and I really like cut down, and maybe Lucian's the kind of champion who can fully take advantage of that and be a AD carry again that can really take over an entire game with early game aggression and then snowballing hard in the mid game. I think it's mostly like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, there were a lot of teams playing Lucian with Lulu as a response to the Juggernaut meta, and it actually competed very well, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see soon. Everyone's favorite Master Yi, Q mana cost decreased. Okay, I mean, he's never going to be popular in the professional meta because of his playstyle, but this is a quality of life thing for normal games and the solo queue ladder. There aren't as many Master Yis out there now, though. Wow. Ryze. Activating Stopwatcher Zhonya's now cancels Ryze's ultimate as though he had been interrupted by crowd control. So this is their response to the annoying interaction where Ryze can Zhonya's and then get out with his ultimate. And sure, that is annoying to play against, but it's not going to really negatively impact Ryze very much. Sejuani, Q cooldown increased at early ranks. This is not the problem with Sejuani. In order for Sejuani to be taken out of the meta, her passive needs to be dealt with because the amount of bonus magic resistance and armor that you gain is ridiculous. In terms of gold value, it's probably the best passive in the game. Tryndamere, base attack damage at later ranks increased. E bonus attack damage ratio increased. I've played against some very good Tryndameres, and he does not need buffs. So this is good for Tryndamere players, but I still don't think he's going to be popular. Victor, Q shield now increased by augment turbocharge. R cooldown decreased at later ranks. Victor is already a champion who is decent. Right now, he wasn't played a lot in professional play because the way that professional teams pick their mid laners is they like understanding how the matchups are going to go, so you'll see a lot of the same champions over and over and over again, and they're playing around specific win conditions. But Victor is the kind of champion who can spike earlier in the game, and the items that he has are actually very powerful, so I like Victor a lot. I think he's a good champion. I would be surprised if he wasn't seen more because of these changes. Zoe, Q cooldown increased. Okay, I mean, she's still going to be really annoying late game. The fact that she can chunk somebody on your team every 6.5 seconds and almost one-shot them, that's the problem. The problem isn't the cooldown on it. Like, if not good enough, Riot, not good enough. Zoe's too annoying. Unsealed spellbook, 25% to 15%. That is a good nerf. Unsealed spellbook was becoming too popular, but the thing is, like, players are too focused on getting the most out of the cheating, like the cheating that this cooldown the cooldown reduction brings. Like, the fact that you can have any summoner is great to begin with. The cooldown reduction is just icing on top of the cake, and I think that it shouldn't negatively impact it as much as it's going to. The play rate on this is going to drop drastically because people see 25 to 15% and they think that it's unusable now, but it's still a game-changing mechanic, and I think that it's still strong. Magical Footwear added to slot. So now you need to choose between Hex, Tech, Flash Traption, Magical Footwear, and Perfect Timing. That's a very good change. Getting rid of the 50 gold reduction, not a big deal. Decreasing the contribution towards upgraded items by 50 gold. That's good. The sell value decreased. That's good. Those are all good changes. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to decrease it that much. I think having a Zanya's in lane is still very strong, even if you have to wait for it. Biscuit Delivery added to slot. Magical Footwear removed from slot. This is a great change. I think Biscuit Delivery really suffered from being in the tier 1 of runes because of how broken Perfect Timing was, but now that it's in the second tier, I think it's going to become super popular. I was talking recently about building this on champions like Ryze and Jace because the maximum mana helps synergize with Seraph's Embrace and Mira mana. So I think Biscuit Delivery is very good for laning phase, and it actually increases your max mana, so that's good. Futures Market. Not a lot of champions use Futures Market. I think it makes sense on support champions specifically. You can get your gold generation items a little earlier, and I also play Orange Jungle because I'm a bad person, and it lets me buy stuff that I wouldn't be able to buy in the jungle. So I love Futures Market. Some new skins coming out, and that's basically it. Those are my initial reactions for patch 8.3. Thanks for watching.